Hi, I'm Sydney.
And I'm Christy.
And we're the Cooking Cousins.
Today we're making my Nanny's Famous Lasagna. Enjoy! So to start, turn your oven on to medium high. And we're just going to lightly coat the pan with extra virgin olive oil. Just enough to coat the bottom of the pan. Okay. Next, we're going to add half of a chopped white onion to this.
And half of a jalapeno just to give it some spice. You can use as much as you want depending on how spicy that you like it.
We're going to let this cook for about 2 minutes until it's turning a little bit brown, and then we're going to add our garlic. So the oil you can see is kind of starting to bubble. That's exactly what we want. It's starting to caramelize the onions. We're going to add some fresh ground black pepper to this.
And you can start to smell it. It smells amazing.
It does, and a good pinching of salt. And this is when we turn it down to medium-low, and we're going to add the garlic.
Okay, so this is 2 cloves of finely chopped garlic. Just put it in there, and you're going to always want to constantly stir so it doesn't get stuck to the bottom.
And the thyme is next.
And we need 1 stick of thyme. Just put that in there. You're going to take it out at the end.
It flavors the sauce perfectly. Okay, so down let this just simmer for about less than a minute until the onions and the garlic turn a light brown color.
Okay, so now that's been simmering, we're going to add 1 can of tomato paste. Just this thick.
So you can find tomato paste in any of your local grocery stores. Any brand will do. And this just helps make the sauce a lot thicker when we're making it. Great. Mix that together.
So it's just Unico tomato paste that we're using. Unico is our favorite brand.
Great.
Get it all in there.
Okay. And our last step, in this recipe we're going to use just a plain tomato juice. This is not vegetable juice, so make sure you're careful when you're purchasing it.
Just Heinz.
Right. So this is a Heinz brand. You can use any brand you want again, and it's just a plain juice.
And be careful pouring it in. You want to put it slowly so the oil doesn't bubble up and burn you. Perfect.
Great. Now we're going to let this simmer on medium-high for about 20 minutes. We're going to start working on the meat for lasagna, and then we're going to add that eventually to the sauce. So just leave it on, and then you can start doing your meat.
So now we're going to start seasoning our meat. This is 1 package of extra lean ground beef. You can use turkey, chicken, pork, whatever you prefer. We're going to start with a little bit of salt and some pepper, freshly ground pepper, just to get all the flavors out of the meat. You start just get in there with your hands.
And this is just a breadcrumb mixture, Italian breadcrumbs you can buy anywhere, with a little bit of fresh parsley and some garlic powder. And we're just going to add this to the mixture.
And a touch of freshly ground Romano. Okay, so we put the meat into a skillet, about a tablespoon of oil just to lightly coat it. We turn the stove on about medium heat, and you just keep tossing it around until it gets lightly brown. This is just for about 5 minutes, then it goes right into the sauce. That's when it's going to cook for a little bit longer.
So just try and break it up the best you can, and then it will break up more in the sauce once we add it to that as well.
And I don't know if you can see, it's getting lightly brown on some of the edges. That's perfect, that's what you want.
Okay, so this is how the meat should look. It is still a little bit pink, but again, it's still gonna cook into the sauce. So we're just gonna slowly add it, and then it's gonna cook again once it's in the oven. So you don't have to worry about it being pink, even if it's pork. Oops.
And I'm gonna add it, just scoop it in so it doesn't pop up at you, because you don't want this burning you. It is pretty hot.
We're gonna mix that together. So your stove should be at medium-low, and it's gonna cook for 45 minutes. I'm also gonna add some fresh basil in here. Now you can just let your sauce do the work. Sit back and relax, and 45 minutes just keep checking it. Okay, so our sauce is finished cooking. I'm just bringing it over here to cool for a second while we start to assemble our lasagna. This is the size we're going to use today. Now you can use any size you want, square, round, and as big or small as you want, depending on how many people you're serving.
Just whatever you have at home. And these are the lasagna noodles. You can get them at any grocery store. They can be fresh or frozen. They do freeze very well. And for a healthier alternative, you can have whole wheat. These ones are white.
Great. So what we're going to do is start by taking a small scoop of sauce and layering it on the bottom of your lasagna pan. This just keeps the noodles from sticking. Okay, so now we have sauce on the bottom. Sydney put a lasagna sheet here. We're going to layer another layer of sauce.
And we have freshly grated mozzarella here. You just put a little layer right on. there's no precise like measurement. You just throw it on, whatever you think looks right.
Okay, and then I'm going to do a little bit of, this is just grated Parmesan cheese on the top. Just like that.
And then for 4, we're going to divide this into 4, and you're going to put a little dollop of butter just on each little quadrant.
This just crisps up the cheese and makes the top, every layer, really tasty.
Like, very good. Then we're going to add just 1 basil leaf between each layer if you want. If you don't have fresh basil, that's fine. You don't have to use it. We just love basil. So then after, you're going to put another, just keep layering it, doing the same thing over and over again until you get to the top.
Sauce,
So,
meat mixture.
A little bit more sauce.
Put lots of cheese on this one.
You want lots of cheese on this layer.
So just keep doing this progression all the way till it's spilled to the top.
Okay, so this is the top layer. We're going to make it extra cheesy. We're going to add a little bit more sauce. So you can get all that mozzarella. It's going to melt and be fantastic.
The top will be crispy. It'll be delicious. Okay, so now we're going to take this to a 375-degree oven for about 40 to 45 minutes until it's nice and crispy brown on the top.
So we just took it out of the oven. You can tell because the ends are kind of brown and the cheese looks perfectly melted. It smells really good.
Right, so make sure you let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes before serving. If you cut it too early, it's going to be runny and all fall apart, so it'll harden up together and you can get a nice, perfect square slice. So we're going to do a recipe recap of what we made. Really simple lasagna, our Nan's lasagna. So we started off with
Sauce.
the sauce, right, with onions. So we chopped about half of a white onion, then we added it to olive oil.
Yeah, I mean, you add as much jalapeno as you want. We like to kind of spice it, so we add a whole half of that. You let that simmer up for about 2 minutes, then you add your garlic and your tomato paste, and we added a fresh thyme, stick of thyme.
Right. Then we added a whole tin of the Heinz tomato juice. You can use any tomato juice that you want. Yeah. And then we cooked that down for about 15 to 25 minutes while we were preparing the meat.
So in the meat, we just took a 1 patch of extra lean ground beef. You can use turkey, pork, chicken, whatever you want. And to that, we seasoned it with salt and pepper, and then
we did a handful of breadcrumbs, Italian-style breadcrumbs, fresh parsley, and some garlic powder in that, and added that to the fresh meat.
Then once you're done with the meat, you put it on the stove, you simmer a little bit of oil just so it gets lightly brown, and don't worry about if it's still pink because it's gonna cook in the sauce. So you put it right into the sauce and you let that cook for about another 45 minutes.
Right, and then we started layering lasagna. So we just had the lasagna noodles, so we did a layer of sauce, a layer of the noodles, and the cheese, and you just kept doing that until it came up to the top of the container here. Please subscribe to our channel too.
Hope you guys enjoy.
Bye.